Some time ago, one of my daughters, who was 14 years old at the time, said something that shocked me. She said she had suicidal thoughts. I remember I was standing by the door of her bedroom, and she was hiding half of her face in her blanket while crying. I asked her what was going on, and instead of explaining, she burst into tears. "You'll get better," I said, not knowing exactly how to comfort her, and I walked out of her room. Although I was overly concerned to see my daughter in that state, I guess she didn't see the reaction she had anticipated from a mom. She didn't say anything, but as a mother, I read a deep disappointment on her face, as if she wanted to tell me that I was a bad mother. In fact, a few months later, my daughter admitted that she was often surprised by my reactions as a mother. "You're not like other moms. You never take any of my concerns seriously. I'm sorry, Mama. I'm starting to question your motherliness." My daughter's accusations prompted me to question my parenting skills. She was right. I don't react like any of her friends' moms, or the moms she sees on television. Not because I don't have a heart like them, but because I grew up in a different environment. At my daughter's age, I didn't have a private room like she did. I walked and climbed mountains to go to school. I shared clothes with my sister Tabitha, and I didn't look good in any of them, for they were all too big for me, but I never complained. After the passing of my grandpa, I became my grandma's main caregiver, since she was totally dependent. I would walk to their house in the middle of the night, since I had to wait until I ate supper. There were no roads nearby. I walked on small paths among bushes and banana trees. I only knew where to step, thanks to my brain that had memorized every step, since I had traveled there more than 100 times. Like any other child, I was very scared of the dark, and I had invented a coping mechanism. I always imagined and convinced myself that my oldest brother Gombaniro was traveling with me, and believe it or not, that helped. I wished my troubles would happen only at night, because during the day there was a dog that was always standing in my way, staring at me. As a child, I thought that dog looked mean, as if he could change his angry face into a smiley face. I would always act nicely, and I smiled at the dog, thinking my good behavior would prevent me from being bitten by the dog. I spent nights with my grandma and helped her to turn to the other side in bed. In the mornings, I would go collect wood for cooking and would start a fire and do light cooking with Grandma's guidance. When I think about my childhood, I always remember how I was content with the little I had, and that makes me wonder why children today don't seem happy despite all the advantages they have. My experience with my grandparents is one of the many childhood stories I talk about when I chat with my daughter, and she listens with interest and asks me a million questions. When she asked me what I considered important for my children as a mother, I told her family unity is the first thing I wish for her and her sisters. The second I wish for them is to never, ever take anything for granted.
Although 3 months don't sound like a long time, they are long enough for Emma to lose almost everyone and everything. Mike and Emma will have to start life from scratch, surprisingly, with optimism and hope. Unfortunately, it doesn't take long before Emma and Mike started to realize that the end of the genocide doesn't mean the end of their trouble, the epiphany that would drive them into their exile. Now the question is, will Emma and Mike's dream of becoming Canadian citizens come true? Or are they once again about to face the terrible truth about the truth? As per Lac Dubé's song lyric, if you stand for the truth, you will always stand alone.
And you can now buy this book, The Terrible Truth About the Truth, a story of a Tutsi Rwandan genocide survivor, with a beautiful quote here: when home doesn't feel like home, and when abroad feels far from home, on Amazon. Again, it was written by Emma K, also known as Emerance KAYIJUKA.